Welcome back to IGN Live from Gamescom. It's time to take a look at Dishonored, Death of the Outsider. We're joined by a couple designers from the game, but actually Lucy here just got a chance to play the game not long ago.
I actually just came out of a gameplay session, and it was amazing. I'd love you to just start with a bit of a rundown of Billy's power set, because I was incredibly impressed at how versatile it was and how I was using each one like basically regularly.
So yeah, I think we can first with Billy's, I think my favorite ability at least, which is the displays that we've just seen in the gameplay. It's so it seems pretty similar to Blink in the sense that it's her way to move around. It's her mobility power. But the thing is that, as you can see, you can place a marker in the world, and actually you can go and do something else, kill someone, choke someone, whatever. And you can then recall to that marker, instantly move to that marker if there is an obstructed line of sight on him. So it's really cool because it opens up a lot of strategic options. It's not just about moving. You can use it just for movement or climbing a building or whatever, but you can also use it to set up a trap for enemies or things like that. Another power that I think we are going to see in a bit is called Foresight. It basically freezes the world and allows you to kind of leave your body in a kind of ethereal form. You're linked to your body with some kind of umbilical cord, and you can, as you can see, go into small ducts and etc. And basically, the world is stopped, and we're seeing here a cool combination is that you can actually place the marker for this place while you're leaving your body with semblance. So it's cool because it's a more active take on something like dark vision, like the reconnaissance power, because it's also useful for combat, by the way, because in the middle of combat you stop everything, take a look at the situation, timer is running down, and you're like, oh, what can I do? Oh, yeah, I place a marker here and take them from the back, or I move upward and snipe them from above. So it's really a pretty versatile tool and combination. And lastly, that we might see that in a bit. Actually, I haven't seen the gameplay, so I'm completely improvising there.
Oh, you're doing pretty well so far.
There is another ability that's called Semblance that basically allows
that was my favorite.
It was cool. It basically allows you to steal one person's appearance, and the person is knocked out afterward. And the cool thing is, you still keep your ability to run around, move around, climb, jump, and use your sword and choke people out. So it's pretty. I mean, it's a pretty fun variation on stealth on broad daylight, I think, and pretty versatile. Also, it can be upgraded to confuse enemies in combat briefly until they say, "Oh, wait a minute, something is wrong. There's two of these guys." So. Yeah, that's I would say the main power set, and then a bit later we get to unlock another ability that's called Void Strike that allows you to basically project I would say that bursts of energy from the void directly on your enemies. And the fun part about it is that it's not on your left hand like the other powers; it's actually in your sword. It's a special sword, I would say. And so you can actually use that in conjunction with something like displace, like make someone jump on the side and then teleport there to grab him. And so yeah, you can imagine pretty cool combinations with all that. We've had, I think, a lot of fun working with this, you could say, reduced power set compared to something like Dishonored 2 that has more. And that's also something that's also a novelty. The player actually gets them all at the same time, pretty early in the game, which means that we've designed a lot of cool situations, and Toph can talk about that maybe.
For us it was liberating, because what happened in Dishonored is like the brainstorm session on the levels were like, yes, but what if the player has this power, or what if he doesn't have it? What if he has this upgrade and not this one? And it was like, okay, so yeah, you're right. So you have to change that and that. Here we have all the powers at the beginning, and so we knew that every player would be able to use them in the levels. So it allowed us to create situations that are much more specific than in Dishonored 2 and 1. And this way, it's you know, it allowed the player to be more tactical in their when they go through the levels. Like, okay, I want to use this because this seems to, it seems that I can use this power, and it's very, very. I mean, to us it was easier, to be honest.
Yeah.
But also, I think for the player, it's liberating. They know that they can do everything.
And let's talk a little bit about the fact that mana isn't coming from your own mark. It's actually coming directly from the void. So instead of needing to use elixirs, it actually just has a cooldown effect.
Exactly.
So what was the decision making behind that?
Well, I mean, I guess there's something fun about going around in the level and looting the potions. So it was a cool part of Dishonored, I have to say. But here we wanted to experiment with something where you don't have to worry about resource management while using your powers. You don't have to worry, like, is this power combination cost efficient or something like that? It allows you to be a bit more creative and experiment with your tool set, make mistakes, and not like worry of, like, if you're a hoarder like some of us, like I need to hold my 10 potions at all time. You never know what might happen and you never use them. So this time it was really cool to break away from that. And I mean, and it's also like maybe in the same vein of thinking about breaking some of the tropes that we've been using. The upgrade system is also a bit more flexible because it's not about like getting runes to then buy upgrades that stack on top of one another, and it's about finding those very powerful bone charms that alter your ability, and sometimes they have a trade-off, and you can just turn them on and off and adapt them to the situation, like deck out your. So it's really cool because I think we've all those changing like together, we've made the game a bit more tactical and a bit more, I'd say, prone for experimentation. I think experimentation is a great part of it, but sometimes you have to break out of the game to do it. And here it doesn't. It's just an integral part of the gameplay and the experience.
Yeah, I remember when these guys, you know, they said, okay, we have a power to mimic someone. Yeah, cool, that's great. and we don't have mana. You don't have to, you know, take elixirs. And I was like, what? I mean, are you crazy? You know, it means that you can go through the entire level like with, and then after that, you know, they explain that, you know, while you're moving, as soon as you're moving, the mana is going down. And so, of course, we can, you know, mitigate where the player is going, so. But at the beginning, it was like it was like in Dishonored 1 when they said you can stop time. Like, okay,
what do I do with my NPCs then?
We'll try something. We'll do something.
So this is a walking simulator, right? Yeah, well. And then, you know, that actually leads to some really tense situations. In my playthrough, I was possessing a person, and yeah, then the time ran out, and I was standing in the middle of a circle of guards. So,
but as soon as you're standing, you can just stay here. But you know, at some point, you look at your mana, and it's like you have that left. And you're like, okay, so I can walk maybe 2 meters, but then after that, I'm dead. Yeah, so it introduced pretty cool situation after all.
So yeah, I really like this subtlety that if you're sprinting, mana goes down faster. If you're just moving a certain speed, but if you're still, mana doesn't consume over time. It's a really cool moment where I have 2 or 3 meters left to move.
What do I do?
Figure it out.
And of course, if you cast another power while you're in the semblance thing, it cancels it. So you cannot just, you know, blink away, and you have to, you know, look around. And so it's interesting. And yeah, I think the power are easy to use. You can improvise more with them, and also you can do much more things with them. I guess because. I don't know. It's some. You know, I've played Dishonored like. I mean
he's our major
every game
pro player at the office.
I play like I finished Dishonored like I don't know 50 times or something like that. It's crazy, maybe more. And the fun part is that I'm never tired of playing it, because each time I play, I find new things to do, and a new way to use the powers, and it's really cool. I mean, that as a developer, enjoying playing your own game is something that I wish to every other developer.
It's nice if it ends up that way. Yeah. Lucy and I are both big fans of Dishonored, so we're super excited to get our hands on Death of the Outsider. It's out September 15th, so we don't have to wait too long. Guys, thank you so much for coming by the show.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thanks to you.
Thanks, guys.
Stay tuned. More to come from IGN Live at Gamescom after this.